Everybody, how you doing? This is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today is July 9th, 2023. I decided I'm going to show you all the steps I'm taking to try to fix this hodgepodge of cobbled together stuff. It is very stressful. I am not a plumber or an expert, so anything I share with you today, if you try it, use it, or buy it, you do so at your own risk and peril. But I'm showing you because I think you'd be interested, and plus, if you have to do it, maybe this will help you, because this is extremely stressful for me. And I've realized the reason. I know plumbing's really expensive, so if I make a mistake and I have to call a plumber in, it's going to cost me a lot of money that I really don't have. So the idea is to release the stress so that things are working enough so you don't have to stress out. And for me, it has been stressful because the original spigot that was on here was dripping right here. That was stressful, and I had a plastic cup and I just had it there and it would drip down into it, and it would only happen when I turned the spigot on, but I would have to turn it on, off, and it's old. So I thought, when I get the chance, I'm going to do this. And so now I'm doing this step by step, and every step is really stressful, mostly because whoever put this in did not make it easy as far as shutting off the water, and I showed you that in the first video. And then realizing, now the Joel from Premier Waters, he said all you got to do to shut off the hot valve is just to go over there to the hot water heater and shut off the cold valve. They only have one valve on the hot water heater. It's a cold valve. Secondly, why wouldn't you put a spigot on here somewhere to shut it off completely so that you could work on it without worrying about having to go shut water off over in other areas of the house? That way you don't have to worry about shutting off the hot water. This part would be shut off. Why didn't they make it where you could just shut it off here? Part of the issue was I did not call Joel first and talk to him because he's the expert in plumbing. They know everything. So really, before you start any of this, you should call your plumber and just tell them what you're about to do. They might have some suggestions on what to do. As far as like a hot water plumber, he had no problem answering my questions. Second thing, do your homework. Now, I'm going to show you what I do. This is a great idea for anyone to do, any homeowner, even apartment owner, landlord, whatever. Usually, I would do it on these cards, but I found these nice big recipe cards. And so what I do is whenever I'm doing something with the house, I make a note, and I keep these all together over in my little tool area over there. So getting back to the spigot, here's the diagram of the spigot. And so here's my old spigot here. It went like this. So here's the old spigot, and you can look to see what the parts are here, so you can refer to it. That's nice. Mine was leaking right here. That's called the bonnet packing nut. So what I had to do was I had to remove this bonnet nut off, and then I bought this stuff and tried to pack it. It did not work on here, probably because this thing is ancient and there's probably rust in there and whatnot. And really the thing is do I want to sit there and in another year have to do this again? No. So it can leak from there. It can also leak from in there. This is a little different, but it shows you the chamber and how it flows. And so you can undo that screw that's in there, if I can get the light. And then there's a gasket in there that you can change out. Hope you can see that. So you could do that too. But to me, there were two different types. The one I bought was about 10 with tax. There was another one that was like 7. I bought the better one. To me, this is something that I don't want to monkey with. Okay, I'm going to buy the best, maybe not the $50 one, but I'm going to buy $10, really solid, really strong. It's not going to break. That's the most important thing. Second thing with the instructions, and I just want to show you, here's another great idea for paint. When I paint, I actually have notes right here. And here's the color, but in case they don't have the color anymore, I do this too. So I think that's really a great idea. And nowadays, if you go to a certain hardware store, they'll keep the notes for you, but I'm not relying on them. I rely on me. All right, so getting back here, what you're going to need, all the tools that you're going to need. That was another stressful thing. I wasn't really getting together the tools that I needed. And I have most of them right here. And you need to move all the junk away and do this way. I have most of the stuff that I'm not going to need right away or may need over here. Going back and forth to my tool room was kind of stressing me out. So I have the tools here. And one of the things you're going to need is you're going to need plumber's tape. It's really important. So what I did was I wrapped this with plumber's tape. I only went one time, and I left it so that you can see that that's what I did. And then I was really worried about turning this on. And the other thing I'm not sure if I mentioned is once I took this off, I see what the size was. So if you've got a situation like me, just put your camera back there and you can see. But really, in hindsight, I should have just waited, taken it off, taken it over to the hardware store, and gotten the right one. I wanted one very similar to what I had. Nice, solid, strong one. I had bought one, it was the wrong size. So really, I just wanted to do that. You could do it beforehand, fine. I just took the time, went back over there, got what I needed, and that way I had the right thing. So that's part of the problem for me. Now I have these teas coming off. I have a hot water to my washer here, and a cold to my washer in here and here. But I wanted an extra one because this thing wasn't working. So I use this for the hot, and I have this little tea here. There's grommets in there, so make sure if you do this, you have grommets. You have to buy the right hose for hot water because that stuff is hot and it's coming out and it's hitting the grommets and hitting all kinds of stuff. So you got to be really mindful of it. I'm not even sure if this is going to last. This is just for now because I do want to get something a little bit better. But I would recommend that you get something like this because then you can turn this a little bit and it's a lot easier to get on and off. If you're going to do this, it's kind of a pain. You're going to have to be able to twist this so that you can get to them. And I had this, so I use that one back there and I use this here. These things turn on and off. If you turn it straight up, the water will come out. You bend it, the water stops. Same thing here. If I push this down, the water will stop. So the thing is, after I got done with all this, all of a sudden, this faucet started to leak. I'm like, oh my gosh, and it actually is working. If I turn it on, see if I turn it on. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's never worked. It's also really dripping right there. Drip there, and it's got to drip there. So the next step, I will bring this to the hardware store, get the right one, and put the right one on. And then the next video, I'll have the finished product with that. I hope I've shared some information, been helpful. Please write your comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share. And please stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you again next time in Lisa's chat room.